Well, it's always good to catch up. So this this festival, the Jazz and Blues Fest, it's a big deal. I mean, it's coming back, and when you talk to Kansas Cityans, and they have these memories of like live music, undoubtedly, this festival is like top of the list.
Oh yeah. Especially like some of the older players like Charlie Gachet has
Yeah,
talked a lot about the different concerts you could see,
yeah,
especially during the summers. They used to host a lot of them down by Shoal Creek.
uh-huh,
And yeah, this returning to Kansas City is a huge deal. And the last time we tried to do a jazz festival, it just didn't go that well. It was supposed to be the first of an annual jazz fest, and
yeah,
it just sort of lost steam after the last year. So to see us come back after all the things we've been through as a community and as especially as a jazz and arts community, I mean, we talked a lot during the pandemic,
yeah.
and we see the rising of sort of a jazz phoenix here, and I love it. It's great.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a great venue. It's going to be out at the Monarch Stadium. You know, there's so many good musicians that are coming in. And I talked to Brody the other day, and he was talking about how you two have come together and you've worked on some stuff. And Brody's totally captivated me. I actually ran into him by accident at a brewery here in Grandview, and my jaw dropped. I'm just watching him on this drum kit with the harmonica and the guitar, and I'm like, I heard his name all these years, and then I totally forgot that he was the prodigy and just the history that he's had. But to
Hmm.
work with him and to be around him, how has that helped you as a musician?
When I first met Brody, I'd heard the stories of the rough times he went through, and I was hesitant. But after meeting him and hearing his work and spending some time with him, just two thumbs up is all
Yeah,
I can say. Like, what a great story. And I love that this community is making room for him to have that recovery
yeah,
and to have that comeback because he deserves it. I mean,
uh-huh,
and it's great to see people say, let's give one of our own a second chance here. And there couldn't be somebody more talented to give that to.
absolutely.
And it's turned, you know me, I've worked for a lot of people. Um, this is not the beginning of my career.
Yeah,
So I mean it when I say like he's one of the nicest, most considerate band leaders I've really ever worked for.
yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. He
and
just seems like he's amazing. Yeah.
he is. That's not an act. It's kind of like Lonnie McFadden. When you meet him, you're just like, is it possible that someone is this charming and nice, or is this just like what you see on the bandstand? And it's real for both of them. You interact with them socially, and it's the same. They're both like these gentlemen of the scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, and when you talk about his skill level, he's the kind of person I can play something at him. He will play it exactly right back to me.
Yeah.
I mean, just stuff that like most people work on for years and years, and it seems like he just sort of was born with that. And it's pretty crazy.
So the other night I caught John Batiste down at the Midland, and that's the kind of guy that was born to do this. That was one of the most amazing shows. But I came away with the same notion as with Brody. There's people that have talent, they work real hard, and it becomes a career. And then there's other people that are literally put on this planet with an acumen, with the skill level that they can't do anything else. That's what they were born to do. And that's what Brody and even John Batiste reminds me of. It is just in them. They work hard, but it was something that was drawn in the stars before they even got here.
Yes, 100% true.
Yeah.
And big John Batiste fan. And some of the other folks performing in this festival. I mean, Shamika Copeland is just a
Yes.
huge, towering blues voice, and I'm so glad she's coming to our community to perform. And then actually, I spent the morning listening to some Bill Frisell.
Oh man.
Um, and like the way I love that he's added to this lineup. There's all sorts of jazz artists that are like, well, we also like other genres and we also like experimentation. And I love that introduction. We tend to be a little bit more traditional in Kansas City, and I celebrate that tradition. That's why I moved here, is to learn that Kansas City swing and to really participate in the tradition that's jazz in Kansas City. But I love that we're open to something like Bill Frisell, Carl Denson. I mean, like
Yeah,
he plays for the Rolling
I
Stones.
know.
He does like Gray Boy All Stars. He's bending the rules in every way they can be bent. And man, his music just grooves so hard. Man, I love his stuff. I can't wait to see him. Bill Frisell, of course, has influences from country music,
Hmm.
from rock music, from all. He's not like John Scofield, but he has that kind of like many influences in his work.
He's definitely a chameleon. I saw him on March 3rd, 2020, before the pandemic happened, and he was with the trio, and I'd never seen him play before. And the way he pulls the strings and the way he approaches the instrument, I've never seen a musician do that, but it's totally alluring. It just adds to that resonance, that sound that he brings to the stage. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I almost want to compare him almost to like locally, our closest would be like Pat Metheny. You
Yeah.
know, Pat Metheny drew from like folk music and from other types of music, and Frisell kind of does that. Or that guy on NPR, Chris Steele, the string
Yeah.
player,
Uh-huh.
where they can hang with like any hard bop player, but they also know all the other genres and have these wonderful references and influences from stuff that everybody knows. And it's so inviting to the general audience.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, and there's a young player, Harrell Davenport, who is a little bit akin to the Brody lineage. He's a prodigy, child prodigy on the harmonica. And but this lineup, there's just so much, Stanley Clarke, he's going to be kicking this off. So my question to you is this. What's your set going to look like? You have the new album. Brody talked about working on stuff. How are you going to approach this very unique Kansas City moment?
I'm definitely concentrating on bringing my best. You know, if I'm going to be included in that lineup, which is just a thrill of a lifetime for me
Yeah.
to have that, I'm going to represent Kansas City as strong as I can. So I've already got horns lined up. I've got my rhythm section lined up, working on the strings so that I can. My thing for my last album was microtonal arrangements in the strings, and specifically with tonal jazz, right? That was my concept. So I'm going to present my strongest work, and I think my latest is my strongest. So that's our plan. And I just couldn't have, I mean, I've talked to you so many times about the collaborators that I get to work with in Kansas City and how lucky I feel to have them. And Seth Lee and Matt Leifer and I have been a trio for years now.
Yeah.
We're excited to see our work come to fruition in this. I'm going to have Trent Austin on trumpet. Of
Yeah.
course, he's working for KCJO and just has an amazing athletic ability on his instrument. He could play it upside down.
Yep.
I've got Rich Wheeler on saxophone. He's a longtime friend and collaborator, and he was a big like sounding board for me during this last project I did. Me saying things like, I don't know if it's gonna work out, like, is this gonna work? And him being like, I don't see why not. You can
Yeah.
do this,
Yeah.
and he does that on the horn too. We're playing, he takes his solo, he's like, we're charging head. We got this. And he's
Yep.
just like a steadying force for me and a great friend, great player.
So are you feeling there's kind of an electricity, a buzz that's going into this? I know I've had friends that have talked to me about going out here, and I'm just hearing more and more voices talking about this festival, about everybody's excited, the lineup's wonderful. Are you feeling that energy?
Yeah, Mike Hanna is known for putting together really good events, so I'm hoping that his legacy proves to be something that carries this to a different level. I also like the Monarch Stadium as a new location for just entertainment and music events in general. They seem to be wanting to do that and take this as their first like big step forward. I know they've done some stuff, but yeah, I definitely, and when I'm out playing, people are asking me about this event.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully it gets the attention it deserves and the participation from our audience. We have such a strong community of people that love jazz here. So I think the big thing is just to get the word out,
Yeah.
which, you doing this interview is so helpful and you're such an asset to our community in that way. So I so appreciate you and the work you do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I love doing it. And I'm curious, what else is going on with you as far as regular gigs? So if people want to come out and get a glimpse of you before the festival or after the festival, where can they catch you?
Well, I play second Fridays at Club 1909, and that's probably the best place to catch the trio. For other performances, Joe, I work 5, 6 nights a
I
week,
know.
7. They'll let me, if I can double book a day, I mean, not double book, but if I can play 2 or 3 gigs in one day, I will. I love to play. So the best place to figure out where I'm playing is JackieMyersMusic.com. I also have a Facebook and Instagram page. They both have monthly and weekly postings of where I'm at. So those are good places to go.
Right on. So monarchsbaseball.com, or I will have a link in the show notes, but if you go to the Monarchs landing page, special events, you can get tickets and see the lineup and all of that. So I can't wait. This is wonderful. It's exciting to me to see this coming back, because I remember years ago going and see it was during the Labor Day, the Spirit Fest and all of that. So for this to come back just shows how this town is so rich. I mean, we're going to get the World Cup. Like this is nothing to sneeze at. All of these things are just a part of the architecture of Kansas City, celebrating the arts and music, and we do it very well.
Yes, and I know, coming from Austin, sometimes that city has experienced growth in ways that were not best for the arts.
Yeah,
I think I can say that with some authority, having lived there and played there. And I have a lot of hope for Kansas City to bend in a different direction. As we
yeah,
grow, I think the arts is part of our soul and culture here.
yeah,
And I mean, I've told you so many times, I moved here to be part of this. This is really important to me. And it's my honor to like be part of the Kansas City jazz scene. So I wouldn't move across the country if I didn't think this was a place that fostered growth in that way. And I think as the city grows, there are enough really loud voices to make that growth be responsible
yeah,
in terms of how we include art, because that's, cities grow because of culture,
yep. They
because
certainly
of
do.
what we have culturally, and culture is art, it's people. So we need to make sure we do that well, and I think we will. I really do. So I'm excited for it.
There's a lot of cities that sometimes rest on their laurels. And the thing about Kansas City that gets me is that we continue not only to celebrate that history, like on today is the 105th birthday of Charlie Parker, and
I
there's
know,
music,
yeah.
right? And there's music all over the city. There's things that are going on. We celebrate it. But the thing that's, I think, good about Kansas City is that we take that history and we're building it up with all the musicians like you and this wonderful lineup that we have. And it's like this continual evolution. We don't get stuck on, oh, well, I remember the day when Kansas City used to whatever. It's like every night you can go and watch history taking place and adding on to that lore of what Kansas City means is a cradle of jazz.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you heard one of our jazz strongholds is closing. Well, it's sold is what happened, but Corvino
Oh,
has is gonna stop their music program because the restaurant sold. And I'm hoping with the growth that somebody steps up and takes the place, because they were a great foster of new music specifically. So one thing I'm excited for and all the growth that we're seeing is for somebody to say, that was important. Let's build that in our new place of business.
yeah,
And we have space for, I think, a couple more clubs in that way.
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing that happen.
Yeah, and I have no doubt, especially as we approach the World Cup closer with the international community that's going to come in, it's just going to grow. It's going to keep moving up.
Yep.
So the Kansas City Jazz and Blues Fest is back October 3rd and 4th out at Monarch Stadium, Legends Field, Kansas City, Kansas. As always, Jackie, it's so great to catch up with you. Have a great festival. It's going to be wonderful.
Thanks, Joe. I look forward to seeing you there.
Hey
Absolutely.
Jazz fans, Joe Domino of Neon Jazz here. Proud to let you know about the triumphant return of the Kansas City Blues and Jazz Festival to Legends Field at the home of the KC Monarchs with a stellar lineup. Grammy-winning Stanley Clarke, Carl Denson's Tiny Universe, jazz master Bill Frisell, and KC luminaries Jackie Myers and Brody Buster. Tickets and more for this electrifying two-day event is found at monarchsbaseball.com, then click on special events. This October 3rd and 4th, join us as we bring magic and music back to Kansas City.